Hello, and welcome to another installment of Pioneer with Poncelet with me, Kevin Poncelet. We're running with Orzhov Vampires today, featuring 4 of Sorin, Imperious Bloodlord, 4 Champion of Dusk. You might remember a lot of these cards from the standard Vampires deck of last season. A lot of heavy hitters, a lot of powerful spells. That first hand obviously had no lands, so we're not keeping that one. But Double Thoughtseize Legion's End is pretty good, so we're going to keep this one. And we're going to bottom a swamp here. No real reason to Thoughtseize on turn 1, so we're just going to play Shambling Vent first. So the idea behind this deck is that it goes a little bit bigger than the mono black aggro decks, and also has some very good cards in the mirror match, including Blood Baron. So here I'm just going to Legion's End the Gilded Goose. Our opponent is a black-green mid-range deck. So we get to take the tracker. Oops. Yeah. Oh, it's not a black-green mid-range deck. It's a black-green Field of the Dead deck, which is a little bit harder. But we get to Thoughtseize their tracker. And then we're just going to have to stick a threat at some point. But we can attack with Mutavault for a little bit at least. They can't kill our land creatures with their Abrupt Decay. But once these 2 cards get going, we're in a lot of trouble. So we hopefully can find some way to speed up the process here. Yeah, we got to take the tracker. We could also take the decay. But I think I'd rather wait a turn and just get in there with Mutavault here. Get a couple damage in. And give them a turn to find an Hour of Promise. That's the big card that we want to take. Hour of Promise is going to be very problematic. And because it's Hour of Promise and we don't really care about any 4-mana spell, I'm actually going to not Thoughtseize again this turn in order to have Thoughtseize next turn. The biggest downside there would be if we top deck a Champion of Dusk or a Blood Baron, either of our 5 drops. Which I'd be happy to top deck either way, but so they might be planning on just trading with Hissing Quagmire here. Could also get in there with Shambling Vent and cast Thoughtseize here. Kind of find a trade. Hissing Quagmire for Mutavault here. That actually seems really good for us. Yeah, they don't want to do that. But we are going to Thoughtseize now, just in case they found an Hour. Nope. They're just going to be making land drops for a bit, it looks like. At least they can't kill our knight now. I mean, they can trade with Hissing Quagmire, but they cannot kill our knight with the Abrupt Decay that we took. So yeah, our opponent's just going to make some land drops. Hopefully not draw any Hour of Promise. Hour of Promise is a 5-mana spell. It's double rampant growth. You can get any land. Probably gonna Lily minus here. Could also swing with all the creatures. But then we can't pump the knight. And I'd like to trade with their Quagmire, honestly. Next turn they get to start making chump blockers, but we can eat them with Lily. But they can just make them during combat. I think we can just pump this guy right now. We do need to get the damage in. And him being a 2/3 is really nice because that means we don't have to pump him later. We can just let him trade. So, I mean, if we just pumped twice with Ebon Legion, we win. So they kind of have to block with... We could have made it so they had to block with Hissing Quagmire. There's a strong potential that, like, we were supposed to do that, but... Oh, right, they have a food as well. So that wouldn't have worked. We can attack with 3 different things, only one of which is lethal. Next turn. And they're likely going to have... Ooh. Did they draw an Hour of Promise here? Ooh. That's really bad. They found it just in time. They're going to get 8 zombies. It's a lot of zombies. Oh, they went for 6 zombies and Field of Ruin instead. We could top deck Legion's End and just win the game. That's not it, though. We can go digging for Blood Baron. And I think that's the move. Although they're going to be able to Westvale Abbey and gain a bunch of life. If we don't at least make them block with some of these. Well, actually, it doesn't matter. They're going to be able to do that either way because they're going to make 3 more zombies minimum, 6 more zombies minimum. But not with enough mana to crack Westvale. I think the first thing we're supposed to do is play Lillian minus. Oh. So our next card was Legion's End, it looks like. Ow. That's rough. Okay. Well. So we have 2 lethal attackers, plus a Shambling Vent. I don't think it's going to be enough at this point, because Westvale Abbey is just too much. And our out to the Ormondal is actually also Legion's End. So it's kind of rough that we minus Lily and got the most punished. But I still think it was correct. Obviously just a little unlucky that our out in the situation was the first card on top of the deck. Yeah, they found the Hour of Promise just in time. And our hand just didn't quite put enough pressure on them. Our deck can have fairly aggressive draws with Knight, but it's certainly not a very fast deck. So, interestingly, Kaya can kill Ormondal, huh? But we're at 3, so we lose to the zombies just attacking us anyway. Plus Hissing Quagmire. So it doesn't matter, but like we could deal 7 and exile the I don't know. But we're gonna go to game 2. All right. So for this matchup, we're going to bring in Virulent Plague because that just turns off all their zombies. We're going to bring in the Blood Baron because it's really good against all their removal and also attacks through all their zombies. We already had 3 main deck, but bringing in the 4th. We're going to want Collective Brutality. We're going to want Duress ×4. We're not going to want Fatal Push. It's just not that good here. We do want some amount of ways to kill a Tireless Tracker. So we don't want to get rid of all of our removal. Collective Brutality is a good way to hedge there because it's a Duress and a way to kill Tireless Tracker before it gets bigger. We could play like 1 Noxious Grasp. Kaya can kill Ormondal, which is a real thing. And she also kills the zombies. She can also kill a Grazer, gain a couple life, but she doesn't seem super useful here. Kalitas also not seeming super useful in this matchup. Liliana either. Grasp, it does kill Tireless Tracker, so maybe we keep Grasp. And we probably trim a couple Champion of Dusks. Dusk Legion Zealot maybe instead of Champion. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Let's do that. So we're leaving in Legion's End because we can actually wipe all the zombies with that. It also kills Ormondal. And we have 3 ways to kill a Tireless Tracker. Also, Thoughtseize and Duresses. Thoughtseize, which can take Tireless Tracker. So here we go for game 2. Sand Solid we're going to keep. We've got Early Pressure and Duress. It's pretty much everything we want. Opponent also Snap kept. Once upon a time for a Llanowar Waste and played that Llanowar Waste. We really don't have to worry much about what they have in their hand at this moment. Besides, I guess Abrupt Decay would be good to take. So they can't kill our Sorin. They do have a Fatal Push, it looks like. Alright. Yeah, rather than play Gifted Aetherborn into more removal, I'm going to Duress. See what they have, and then maybe Thoughtseize as well. Oh wow, we whiffed on Duress. Ow. It's 6 cards in their hand. I really didn't think we were going to whiff on that Duress. That's rough. So next turn, we're probably playing Sorin minus. Which means I think I do want to Thoughtseize and take the Goose. Feels really bad, though. After whiffing on that Duress. Yeah, that was... Yeah, I'm really not happy with the efficiency of our spells there. Obviously, because Duress just didn't do anything. It was 1 mana, look at target player's hand. That was a really good draw, though. That's maybe the best card in the matchup for us. Virulent Plague. So, I mean, their deck, basically the way it kills you is with tokens. And if you take their ability to kill you with tokens, you're usually pretty good. They do play Abrupt Decay, though, and could potentially destroy our Virulent Plague at some point. I'm just going to Thoughtseize here, I think. Well, I guess I can wait till next turn. We can just play this Plague. I don't want to play the Plague right now either. I do really wish we had another land so we can just activate Locthwain for the turn. Yeah, we know 4 of their 5 cards. I guess we just pass. So now I am going to Thoughtseize. See if they found... Oh, we need 4 of their 4 cards. Wow. All right. Well, I suppose I should have known that that was their hand. Ooh. Yeah, that was a mistake. I guess I did know every card in their hand at that point. Whoops. Yeah, we're just gonna grasp that. It stands to just gain them a lot of life over the course of the game, and we just want to use our mana here, just do some things. This is pay 5. 6 lands. I'm going to just activate Castle Locthwain this turn. This way, like if they top deck an Abrupt Decay, they're not going to kill our Virulent Plague. And then play their 7th land. Ooh. So I also just forgot to activate Castle Locthwain there. Whoops. Just lost my train of thought there for a sec. But this turn's working out pretty well for us. And it's going to be very hard for them to win the game regardless, but we should be at like 29 and we should have drawn an extra card there. But yeah, they're dead here. Yeah. So yeah, Virulent Plague, best card in the matchup. They do have ways to interact with it, but not that many, just Abrupt Decays. Potentially some sort of Unravel the Ether type effect in their sideboard, but I'm not sure that they'd be bringing that in. Potentially, I mean, it is that good against them. So, yeah, the Fatal Pushes for the Gilded Geese is like reasonable. So is Kaya. She kills Gilded Goose, zombies, Ormondal, and also can just like serve as an alternate win con once they start building up their zombie horde. So not unreasonable to maybe play a Kaya and maybe take out like the swamp on the draw here. $24 lands is a little bit low with 8/5 drops though, so I'm just gonna leave it. We're just gonna hope for another pretty good draw like we had last game. It was a little awkward with a couple of my misplays, but and our duress just not being a card was a big deal there on turn 2. But luckily, Virulent Plague just kind of swept us into the win there. This hand's great. We're gonna definitely keep this one. We don't have any way to interact with their hand, but we have a turn 3 Sorin Imperious Bloodlord, which is pretty great. Into either Champion of Dusk or Blood Baron. Hopefully they don't have a Legion's End for our Knight of the Ebon Legions. That would be really bad. Or like Bile Blight would also be really rough here. Tireless Tracker is fine. I mean, it's good. But we're okay with it. Yeah, I believe we're going to attack first with both of these. This way, the threat of activation is why they're not blocking. And then we're going to play Sorin. Put Champion of Dusk into play, draw 3 cards. Lose 3 life. And we're just flush with 5 drops, but we have 5 lands, so we're going to be good there. Likely going to have to throw a vampire at Tireless Tracker next turn. Ooh, Abrupt Decay. All right. That's rough. Well, I think they're just going to trade with the Champion of Dusk. Very likely trading, yeah. And we're just going to pump one of these, get them both up to 2/3s, get some more damage in since we have no other play to make here, and play Godless Shrine tapped. And then we're just going to play 5 drops every turn for the rest of the game. Hopefully that's good enough. If they have the Hour of Promise, we're in some trouble. But it's not unwinnable from there. I mean, Blood Baron does a very good job of attacking through zombie tokens and gaining life in the process. Champion of Dusk can draw us into Virulent Plague, potentially. Westvale Abbey is an issue, though. And they went with the Westvale Abbey plan in case we find a Virulent Plague at some point. So there's a fairly high probability they have another Field of the Dead in their hand, which is going to make them 2 more zombies. Potentially another Hour of Promise, making them a bunch more zombies. So drawing into Virulent Plague would be really important. I'm not sure that we need to. So this is a pretty big turn, obviously. The choice that we make between Blood Baron of Vizkopa and Champion of Dusk. Champion of Dusk is going to draw us 3 cards. And if one of those cards is Virulent Plague, we're in a very good position to win the game. But Blood Baron might be enough here, considering they kind of have to block the Knights every turn. I think I'm going to just attack with the Knights first and see what they do, and then decide from there. All right, they are going to block with both. Makes sense. Then I think because of that, we're just going to play Blood Baron, since it's not like do or die to find the Virulent Plague at this point. It's really hard for them to kill Blood Baron. It's going to dome them for 4, and we're going to gain 4 next turn. And then the second Blood Baron does the next 8. So this could just be game in the next 2 attack steps. If they have no way of gaining life, which I don't think they have too many ways of gaining life. They do have some green blockers, though. And we don't have any removal at the moment. They do have another Hour of Promise. Oof. Yeah, the multiple Hour of Promise draws can be really, really difficult. All right. That's a big issue. That's a really big issue. All right. Well, now we really need to find Virulent Plague, but I think it's too late. Had we known they had a second Hour of Promise, I think I would have played Champion of Dusk. And maybe it was just incorrect to try and go for this route, but it just felt so juicy with the opponent being at 12 here, attacking for 4, and then 8 is lethal. But they have Westvale Abbey about to flip next turn, so that's probably that. Yeah, I don't think we can race the Ormondal. It's bigger than 2 Blood Barons. Yeah, it's really unfortunate. Damn. I guess we could draw Legion's End off Champion of Dusk. But yeah, they're likely just going to chump these 2. And then flip Westvale next turn. They have an Abrupt Decay. All right. Huh. Really? Huh. That's actually really good for us. So now if we pump, we can kill all 5 of these. And that leaves them with only 2. But I guess any land will still give them enough to flip Westvale. Yeah, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, I think that's probably a trap to pump it. Yeah, they just need any land in their hand, and they still get to flip Westvale Abbey, even if we killed off 5 of them. Or maybe not. No, yeah, they would have still had 2, right? Yeah. Okay, so we're just gonna try and draw something that does something here, like a Virulent Plague or a Legion's End, or both. That is a Legion's End. That's really good. All right. We have a chance. We have a chance here. We have a shot. Are we just dead from 19, though? I think actually we're just dead from 19. I think playing the Champion of Dusk and losing 2 life there put us at exactly dead if they attack with all 6 of these, which isn't necessarily something they can do. Oh, they're not gonna make the Ormondal yet, huh? Huh. Uh-huh. It's a green creature, right? Legion's End. Unravel the Ether, Murderous Rider, Fatal Push. All right, so they can kill Champion of Dusk. But if they do, they lose to the Shambling Bant. If we attack with that too. But I think it's better to play another Blood Baron here. So we're just going to attack with both. Okay. All right. Well, we got 2 lethal threats that are really, really hard for them to remove. And we got him. Whew, I really thought we were dead multiple times that game. But we did find the Legion's End off that Champion of Dusk. Whew, and we were able to kill that Ormondal. If they just had any land that turn, I think we were in for it, but they just didn't have any lands. And they did board in the Unravel the Ether to combat our Virulent Plague. So I'm really glad we drew Legion's End and not Virulent Plague. Although, by the time they unravel the Ether, the Virulent Plague, it usually already killed a bunch of things. So Plague's really good either way. All right, welcome to round 2 with Orzhov Vampires. We are 1-0. We just beat Green-Black Field of the Dead. And we're going to keep this hand on the play. Hopefully they're a deck that is weak to Baron of Vizkopa since we have 2 of them. I'm not going to start with a tapped land. I mean, not going to start with Thoughtseize here, although it is pretty tempting to hold up Fatal Push. I generally want to Thoughtseize not on turn 1 in this format, especially when we have a Fatal Push for their turn 1 play anyway. Alright, so we're going to Fatal Push that. Champion of Dusk. Yeah, I'm not going to Thoughtseize here. We're going to wait one more turn because I want to take something like Goblin Chain Whirler and like removal that kills Blood Baron, Chandra, Hazaret, those type of cards. I'm not as worried about Viashino Pyromancer, but I am going to kill Soulscar Mage. And I am going to Thoughtseize now. It's a little bit rough because I'm losing 2 life to take something that's probably dealing 2 damage. So it's like not the best. But So on the surface, Light of the Stage is the best card, but Wizard's Lightning is the only card that actually kills Shambling Vent. So we're going to take Wizard's Lightning. And I do feel like we're pretty far behind here. Their hand was pretty good. Obviously, if we can land a Blood Baron and start gaining 4 life a turn, we're in great shape, but we need 2 more turns before we can play one of those, and we're going to take a lot of damage on these next couple turns. Hopefully we can block with Shambling Vent on the following turn, but the problem there is if they have some way to kill the Shambling Vent when we go to activate it, we're down a land, and then we're just stranded with all these 5-drops in our hand that we can't cast, which is a pretty big deal. Ooh, and they have a Lightning Strike, so activating the Shambling Vent is going to be just not an option, which, yeah, is really bad for us here. We're really hoping to draw some sort of removal spell or just some other 2 or 3 drop or 4 drop. Like Kalitas would actually be our best draw by a fair margin. So hopefully Kalitas off the top here. Nope. And yeah, we're probably just done for here. Unless for some reason they tap out before combat, which I don't see a good reason for them to do. So Lightning Strike plus Pyromancer is 5 more, and this is 4. Well, I think we're just dead. Yeah, then they just need any land, and they can kill us with the Ramanap. But we just can't block. We can't. I mean, we could have fired up Mutavault, and then maybe fired up the Shambling Vent on the following turn, but I think that's too little too late, because then we're just not going to have... Yeah, we're going to 1, and they have 3 lethal attackers, plus 2 Ramanap Ruins. Oh no, they're just gonna kill us. Okay, well, we just kind of had a really awkward draw, and they had a very fast start there. But So it's interesting here because Blood Baron's good because it gains us life, but it's also really bad because it's not protection from red, and it's like kind of a clunky card. But we're definitely bringing in the second copy of Kaya. We're definitely bringing in the Blood Baron. So we do have a lot of incidental life gain. Dusk Legion Zealot does not seem very good here, even though it blocks. It's good against Bomat Courier, I guess. I really don't like Thoughtseize, though. We can just cut those. Get the Dusk Legion Zealots back in. We could play a Duress. We could play the Infernal Reckoning if we think they're on Smuggler's Copter, but we don't know if they're playing that card or not. But this is certainly worth its spot in the deck post board if your opponent is playing Bomat and Smuggler's Copter. But we just don't know if they are. I mean, it's very likely that they are playing at least one, if not both. But we can't really afford to have dead cards in our hand. I guess we could pitch it to Collective Brutality, but it's just not very good. So I think we're just going to go with one Duress. Either that. Actually, Murderous Rider is fine. Let's just go Murderous Rider. Murderous Rider, even though it hurts us when we kill their thing, sometimes it's worth it, and it can also kill like a Chandra. And it's a 2/3 lifelink, which is actually really good later in the game, or even just on turn 3. Yeah, we're going to keep this. This hand's very good. A lot of lifelink creatures. Need some lands, but we can draw into some lands with Dusk Legion Zealot, hopefully. So they are playing Bowman Courier, which Dusk Legion is very good against. And I do want to hit my land drop next turn, so I'm going to play Dusk Legion first. Legion's Hand is a very good draw. Our hand is just stacked right now with good cards against mono red, but we do need to find some lands. At the moment, it looks like we're going to be pitching Blood Baron to Collective Brutality. Next turn, potentially. All right, that's good. So likely they want to like Lightning Strike us or Lightning Strike a creature that we cast here. It's very likely that that's what's in their hand. So I think we want to Collective Brutality for drain them and take a card out of their hand, since I don't really care about the Bomat Courier at the moment. Could use all 3 modes and just like pitch Knight, but I think I'd rather do it like this. And yeah, we're going to discard Blood Baron. Wizard's Lightning, Wizard Lightning, light up the stage. Gonna take light up the stage. And next turn, Legion's End plus Knight of the Ebon Legion. Or plus Gifted Etherborn if we draw land. Yeah, I think I will do it that way. Well, actually, I kind of want them to burn a Wizard's Lightning on this night. Yeah, they're going to do it. And Kalitas is a card they basically can't beat. It looks like they might have drawn a shock, though, and they might go for the... Oh, they lost connection to the game. They might have drawn shock and are planning on wild slashing. Or I mean, shock. When I say shock in Pioneer, I basically mean wild slash. It's just a strict upgrade to shock. Looks like our opponent's back. They did draw the wild slash. All right. Well, that's okay. We get to, oops. Wait, what? We get to fire up the Shambling Vent. They're just going to crack Ramanap Ruins, it looks like. Sure. But yeah, every time we gain life with Shambling Vent and Gifted Aetherborn, it just becomes harder and harder for our opponent to win the game here. Yeah, they're going to have a really tough time with those two cards. Yeah, 2/2/3 lifelinks. They don't seem like much, but they're very good in the mono red matchup. So yeah, I think I like where we're at here. Collective Brutality was obviously really good there, and so was Legion's End and all of our lifelink creatures. And it doesn't seem like a bad matchup for us here. But they are definitely playing Bomat Courier, so Infernal Reckoning is pretty useful. It might just be better than Murderous Rider. Eh, 2/3 lifelink for 3 is actually totally playable in this matchup, though. And, I mean, I guess I could trim a Blood Baron since we're on the draw here. Or like a Champion of Dusk. And just have another out to Bomat. If we saw a Smuggler's Copter, I'm totally on board with bringing this in. It's just, I know that like nobody's playing like one Bomat Courier. Like I'm sure they're playing 4, but all right. I guess 1 Infernal Reckoning for 4 Bomat Couriers doesn't seem that bad. And the 4th Champion of Dusk is probably not that useful. It loses its life when it comes into play, so it's certainly not our plan A. Yeah, we're going to keep this hand. We need a white source for that Kaya, but it's going to be very good if we find one. And we have removal and some creatures. Pretty good mix of things here. Legion's End is pretty solid. If they're not going to do anything, I think I'm just going to eat a shock here. Like, they're very likely going to shock our knight, but I think I'm fine to just like get some cards out of their hand. Yeah, there's the shock. Pyromancer. I do actually want to get that off the board because it's a wizard. So I'm going to do so. That's a juicy target for Kaya. It's also pretty juicy to Legion's End, which might be the move, depending on what this shows us here. Another Swift Spear. Yeah, we're definitely going to Legion's End. Oh, baby, we got there. Boo, boo. They do have a Hazoret, though. That's going to be an issue. Yeah, we may still just lose to this Hazoret, unfortunately. That's a problem. Sorin was a good draw. I may just be chumping. May just be chumping here with the knight rather than attacking with it. Because if we can get this Champion of Dust to a 6/6, we're good. We're not good, but we're like much better. Yeah, so I think we just save that to chump, and they'll probably Wizard's Lightning it, but at least we make them Wizard's Lightning it. We actually don't have any out to Hazoret at all. Oh no, we have Grasp of Darkness. We have one Grasp. Lava Coil, you got it. Oh, wow. Jeez. Yeah, I think we're going to lose. That's a really good turn from our opponent there. If we play Blood Baron, they're kind of disincentivized for attacking. We could also play Kaya and Gifted Aetherborn here. The problem with Kaya Gifted Aetherborn is Kaya just dies because they're just going to Lightning our Gifted. So let's just play Blood Baron. Yeah. Opponent with double lava Coil as their unknown cards. Pretty strong, pretty strong. It's also a pretty good top deck there. But they can't really attack. I mean, I guess they could. All right. Oh, yeah, because now they can block and then Wizard's Lightning, Blood Baron. Which is really good. But I guess I want them to do that. All right, Swift Spear's not so bad. Let's see if they attack with Hazoret again. No attacks. All right, that's good. That's good. Kind of want to just exile the Swift Spear, but this way we gain a couple life, and if we get Kaya up high enough and get more of their cards exiled, we could be in pretty good shape in a few more turns. Hazoret is coming at Kaya. I believe we want to jump with Mutavault here. Damn, that's pretty good. The fact that Pyromancer can deal damage to planeswalkers is pretty good. So I kind of want to attack with both here. Let's do it. All right, that's a good top deck from our opponent. But that was a pretty good top deck for us too. Sorin's going to be able to get Gifted Aetherborn out of range at some point. It might be worth it just to minus here and put Champion into play. That's like a lot of cards, and we'll be able to play a lot of things this turn. Yeah, maybe that's the move. Yeah, that was pretty solid. Now we have a lot of chump blockers for Hazoret. Plus another Blood Baron. Plus we can just start throwing these at them. Lightning Helixing them. Wizard Lightning this Sorin. Okay, yeah, that's really bad. So we exposed Sorin to Wizard's Lightning, which definitely wasn't great, but it's all right. If we draw another land, we can just start attacking with Knights. That doesn't do much here, but that's okay. So if we swing out, we just lose one of the 4/4s, definitely this one. But they're going to take 3, +4 plus. I think we swing out. Yeah. Pretty sure it's correct. All right. I guess they didn't have any outs. So we got there. Whew. Yeah, that was a tight one. That Hazoret is a big problem. We do have Grasp of Darkness, but it's just a one of. And that's the only way we can kill a Hazoret, basically. So maybe we should consider another copy of Grasp somewhere in the 75. Because Hazoret is a problem. But otherwise, the mono-red matchup is pretty good. All right, what's up, y'all? Welcome to round 3. We're 2-0. We beat red and we beat black-green field. And this hand is pretty good. We're going to keep it. Going to lead with Shambling Vent. So Knight of the Ebon Legion is fine to play on turn 1, but it's actually sometimes a better 2-drop. It's kind of strange because you can't pump it until turn 3. So it's just a 1-2 on turn 1 and 2. Turns 1 and 2. Swifty. So another burn deck. This one probably with a Tarkus command. We can choose to Legion's End or Fatal Push. If we Fatal Push, we get to still play the Knight. But I think I want to just Legion's End here. Gore Clan Rampager ×2 and a Shock. Okay. Glad we had the Fatal Push for the Gore Clans now, though. It's not that easy to Fatal Push a Gore Clan, but it's very possible. Hopefully we draw a land next turn. But I guess just playing Gifted Aetherborns is pretty good, too. Can't get shocked. I mean, they can get shocked. They just don't die. I wanted them to waste their shock, and this makes them waste their shock. So that worked out pretty well for us. But now they're going to have a 4/4, which is okay, because, I mean, we have this Death Touch lifelink creature. Plus, we're going to have a 4/4 of our own. They could Gore Clan onto their other Gore Clan. All right, we know all 3 of their cards. Yeah, I think I'm going to attack with Knight first. Yeah. So they're going to kill one of our Sorins. next turn with probably the Gore Clan on top of the other Gore Clan, but they're probably not blocking this Knight, and if they do, I'm happy to just trade Knight for Gore Clan here. They kind of have to kill the Sorin, I think. Oh, no, they're just going to cast another one, huh? All right, that's fine. Just cast another Knight, and I gifted Aetherborn. Pass the turn. And that's all she wrote. All right, so our opponent is playing some sort of Embercleave Gore Clan deck, like sort of a combo base red, probably playing 8 Chocks. Probably 8 Chocks, Prowess deck, and maybe even Become Immense, something like that. Not sure how many green creatures they're actually running, so not sure about Noxious Grasp. Collector Brutality is certainly good. Not sure if they're running like Legion Warboss, Goblin Rabble Master. They probably are. But they might just be splashing green for Once Upon a Time and Gore Clan. And maybe like a Tarkus Command. Noxious Grasp does kill Gore Clan Rampager. So maybe it's worth it, but if they're just using the Gore Clans to pump their guys and killing us with Embercleaves on red creatures, then this card's going to look really bad in our hand. But Kaya is very good, and I think this is another time where we don't really want Thoughtseize. And yeah, we probably want Blood Baron as well, just to gain some life. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave the Noxious Grasp in the board for now. We have a bunch of other outs to the Gore Clans as it is. 4/4s aren't so bad. This hand isn't exciting. It doesn't have any removal, but it's got Kalitas, which is really good. So I'm going to keep it. Hopefully we find some sort of removal. Bomat Carrier, that's fine. We have a 1-drop that matches up really well against that, although they'll probably have one of their 8 Shocks. Seems like they are an 8 Shock deck. I mean, they're playing actual Shock, which means probably no wild. I mean, probably already have 4 wild slash, yeah. They have another Shock for this Mutavault. We're in a lot of trouble. Yeah, actually, I don't even think I can fire up the Mutavault here. It's just way too much of a Stone Rain if we do. All right. Big mistake keeping a hand with no removal, but we got there. So, gonna discard at least one of these cards, probably Champion of Dusk. And we're gonna kill the Bomat Courier and take a card from their hand, I guess. They're likely to have another shock at least. I'd also like to drain them, but I don't want to discard another card. I mean, I guess we could discard this Godless Shrine. Yeah, maybe we do all three. Yeah, I think all three is probably correct here. Targus command, Reckless Bushwhacker, Rampaging Ferocidon. Oof. Man, a Targus command plus Dreadhorde is just sick. Alright. Well, I'm glad we used all three. Rampaging Ferocidon is going to be an issue if they draw a land. Gonna cast that Wild Slash, might as well, right? Energy Bushwhacker. Recast a Tarkus command. Holy. Alright, that's pretty good. I think we're dead. Wow, that was a really good draw. Yeah, that was a really, really good draw. That was probably best possible for them. I think it was probably the only card that won them the game on the spot. Wow. Yeah, that's a hell of a top deck from our opponent there. I believe we're just dead. Yeah, that's 11, 14. Yeah, we can't. We're just dead. Wow. What a top deck from our opponent there. I mean, we probably shouldn't have kept our hand without any removal. I think we just can't keep a hand, especially on the draw without removal. So they're definitely playing Bomat Courier. Infernal Reckoning is fine. It might be better than like the 4th Champion at Dusk. Getting rid of those Bomats is kind of important. Although, I mean, it's way more important to kill their Dreadhorde Arcanist, but the Dreadhorde Arcanist, I guess we can just prioritize our other removal, which can kill Dreadhorde, like Grasp, Fatal Push, Legion's End, to target that, and use Infernal Reckoning and Kaya on things that can only be targeted by Infernal Reckoning and Kaya. So yeah, maybe it's good to bring in another piece here. Champion of Dusk, like on the play, I do want to trim on my 5 drops anyway. All right, yeah, we'll keep that. got a Fatal Push. We got a Sorin. Got a Murderous Rider. We're doing stuff. They missed their land drop. Well, that's really good for us. All right, our opponent missed their land drop. The best course of action here is probably Gifted Etherborn Pass, because I don't want to expose Sorin. To a shock. I think I just want to plus Sorin and get gifted out of range of some other things they could have here. Just keep creatures off their board. Play a bunch of threats. Opponent stuck on one land. Not great for our opponent here. They did have a shock. Just gonna pump our dude up. Gain some life. We're only one land away from just being able to cast Champion of Dusk. And I just really don't want Sorin to be shockable. Kai has a solid draw. All right, so it looks like we're going to get this one. Our opponent, unfortunately, on turn 6 here, still hasn't found their second land. That's unfortunate. I'm surprised that they didn't hit a land with Once Upon a Time. But it looks like they kept a one-lander with a Once Upon a Time and just didn't get there, which is really unfortunate for our opponent. Hey, welcome to round 4 with Orzhov Vampires. We're on the play, and we've got Sorin into Champion on turn 3. So I'm just going to keep it. It's weak to Thoughtseize, and it doesn't have any removal, and it's not the best hand, all told, but we're on the play, and we're going to have a turn 3 4/4 that draws us a card. So I'm just game to try it out. Turn 3 4/4 that draws us a card plus a a Sorin that can pump it to a 5/5 on the following turn if they don't have anything else going on, or a way to get through the 4/4. Green deck with Hollowed Fountain and Once Upon a Time. Looks like maybe Bant Field. Yeah, it's Bant Field. All right, this hand is not very good against Bant Field. We have no Thoughtseize, no Legion's End, but hopefully the champion can draw us into one of those cards. It's obviously an awful top deck swamp there, but let's see if we can muster some sort of defense against our opponent. Trying to make a billion zombies. All right, Fatal Push again, a pretty terrible draw. It can kill our Boreal Grazer, but it's certainly not useful in this matchup to a great extent. That is actually a good card in this matchup. Unfortunately, we don't get to cast it before they have 5 mana. And if they have the Hour of Promise, this game is pretty much done, unfortunately. Hour of Promise. Who would have thought that that's like one of the best cards in this format? Hour of Promise. It's a powerful card, but I definitely didn't consider it to be like one of the better cards in the format. Vampire draw was really good. Yeah, drawing a vampire there was certainly great. And let's go ahead and Thoughtseize. Sphinx's Rev, D-Sphere, Hydroid Krasis. Ouch. Those are all pretty good. So what do they want to do next turn? The Sphinx's Rev is going to beat us in the later game, but so is Hydroid Krasis. Both of those are very bad for us. We do have a push for the Krasis, so I guess I'd rather let them have Krasis and take Sphinx's Rev. Krasis is a little less efficient, and we have a removal spell for it. They don't gain as much life and draw as many cards. So I think we take Rev and let them D-Sphere something. Yeah, I think that has to be the play. Okay. And then I suppose they're going to D-Sphere the Knight, since Sorin doesn't do that much on its own. Now they're going to cast Rejuvenator. All right. Unfortunately, we're very disincentivized from Fatal Pushing the Rejuvenator right now, because they have a Hydroid Krasis in hand. I might just go for a big Hydroid Krasis here. Really would have been nice to do something that turn. But we just didn't have any options. So we're going to gain 2, draw 2, have a 5/5. go ahead and push it. Lily, get back Champion of Dusk. Play Champion of Dusk. Seems pretty good. But also just keeping the Sorin in play seems pretty good too. Oof. Yeah, I would like to probably keep the Sorin in play. Could also just cast Gifted Etherborn here and pump it with Sorin. Get Champion later. If we play the Champion, we might actually hit like a Thoughtseize and be able to take something, which would be really useful. Might hit Legion's End, which gives us a way to win the game since they're at 20 life. Yeah, I think I am just gonna take that. Minus Sorin. Draw 2 cards. Find another one. Okay, that's fine. I'm not totally sold on having used our Sorin that way there, because the Sorin was maybe something really important to leverage. But I think it's more important to draw the cards there and maybe get out of this. They're going to take Lily. And then their plan is just blocking our dudes every turn. Teferi. Ouch. All right. Found Legion's End. That's great. And Thoughtseize. Very good. Very good. All right. So I am scared that Teferi is gonna find them a Supreme Verdict that they're gonna be able to cast on our turn, but I'm gonna allow that to be the case because I want a Legion's End all their zombies on our next turn. And just hope that they don't top deck a Supreme Verdict here. Castle Vantress is what they drew. That's a good one. That's a really good one. But at least we know they didn't draw a Supreme Verdict. And we do want a Legion's End now. I actually think I should have played Mutavault. So they're going to get 2 more zombies. Maybe this one has to go to Teferi. Yeah, I think we could have played that a little bit differently. I mean, obviously we could have played that a little bit differently, but it's basically if they find a Supreme Verdict, we're going to lose. If they find an Hour of Promise, we're probably going to lose. But if they don't find either of those cards for a while, we probably win. But they're scrying a lot every turn here. And they put one on the top, so it's probably a Verdict. No, it's Hour of Promise, yeah. Yeah, we really wanted them to bottom both cards there. Yeah, that's really bad. That's 8 zombies. It's 12 zombies. Yeah. Yeah, 1 Hour of Promise took them from 0 zombies to 12 zombies in 1 turn. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. Oh, they didn't want to play their Thornwood Falls. Interesting. Yeah, every land they draw now is just... I don't know why they didn't want to play Thornwood Falls, though. I guess maybe they figure, like, we have another Legion's End, but if we had another Legion's End, they're just dead. I think they were supposed to play it. Yeah, we're just going to swing with these ones. They're probably going to upkeep. Upkeep, activate. They bottomed both this time. That's good. Supreme Verdict, all right. That's a lot of zombies. Blood Baron's good. Blood Baron is very good here. Yeah, hopefully that Blood Baron can take us home. But it's going to be tough. Since any land gives them 4 zombies. So basically any draw is really, really, really good for them. I don't think they have any really bad draws at this point. I think every single card in their deck is very good. A land draw is 4 2/2s. A card that finds them a land is at least 4 2/2s. They topped both. So yeah, I don't think there's any chance we can win this game. Oh, Westvale Abbey, yeah. Nice. That's pretty good. So we need to top deck another Legion's End, like right now. Does it get haste? It does have haste. Jeez. Yeah, we're just dead. mean, I guess we can make their Ormondal smaller. And we could block their zombies. We have 3 blockers. So we're not just dead here, but we're certainly not in a good spot. Yeah, we're just going to grasp it. So they only gain 5 and we only lose 5 here. Well, we need to find a Legion's End. Of which we only have 1 more in our deck. That is not it. But I guess we're not just dead since we're gaining 6. Ooh. Oh, but they didn't find the land. All right. Cool. Well, we're sticking in there. We're hanging in. But it's very likely that we will be scooping next turn. Although, I don't know. I guess Knight of the Ebon Legion can deal a lot of damage. Oh, I guess they found another land, though, so maybe not. And they gained a life. What's their other card? It is a non-land card. It's a Teferi. Well, they can't bounce Blood Baron, but they can definitely bounce Knight. Sorin doesn't help us here. I mean, he kind of does. All right, let's go to game 2. We need to find that one other Legion's End. It was their only actual out to Armandal. Oh no, that's not true. We could have found Kaya as well. So maybe I wasn't supposed to cast the... Yeah, if we had found Kaya, I think we survived that turn and potentially turned the game around, but very unlikely with 4 Field of the Deads on our opponent's side of the board. Just a tough situation. So Noxious Grasp is good against a Teferi. It also kills the green blockers in a pinch. Virulent Plague, very good. Collective Brutality, solid. Duress, very, very good. Blood Baron, very good. Kaya, it's just nice to have planeswalkers in this matchup because it's more based on them like verdicting us and wiping our board and then like trying to draw 100 cards and then like slowly killing us with Field of the Dead. Drawing cards is nice, but Dusk Legion Zealot certainly isn't an exciting one. Although maybe it's better than Aetherborn actually in this matchup. Champion of Dusk is really good. Lily, pretty bad. Kalida's not very good either. And then, yeah, maybe we don't need 2 Kaya. Maybe just 1 is fine. It's another out to Ormondal, and it gives us an alternate method of attack. We can win through a lot of blockers. Maybe 2 Kayas makes sense. And I'm not sure about Gifted over Dusk Legion Zealot. Could just be really nice to draw some cards, but I'm going to run it like this. I think our matchup isn't too bad post-board with all the man lands, or the creature lands that is, and the Virulent Plagues. This hand has no interaction for them, just like a decent start of Sorin and Gifted Aetherborn, but with a Mutavault. So this hand's like fine, but I think against their deck, I want to have some better tools. This hand's definitely better, but only has 1 land. And therefore, I am not interested. All right, we'll keep this one. Gonna bottom Kaya and a Swamp. All right, well, we have a Duress, which is very good, but we're on 5 cards in game 2 here, so this is certainly not a great spot to be. Very Verdict, Growth Spiral. Teferi and Verdict are both really bad for us. I think we have to take Verdict, but it doesn't feel good. Verdict's just, it's always going to be a 2-for-1 pretty much. We don't have to play into it, but we kind of do, because we have to try and end the game. Obviously, we're not going to win the late game. Thoughtseize is good. Ugin. Another Verdict. Oh, man. Hey. Sick. All right. Well, we missed our land drop. We mulled to 5, and they drew 2 Verdicts. So, yeah. That's going to be that. But hopefully we'll win round 5 I guess we'll make them cast it. At least they take the turn off to cast it. Really? That's disheartening. So if we hit the third land there and play a Blood Baron, I think we could potentially get there before they can cast Ugin. I mean, it's unlikely, especially when they had the 7th land right there and they have an Ugin right now. Yeah. Okay. Unfortunate. We mulled the 5 and just, didn't stand a chance there. Kept a 2-land hand and just never drew another land. Happens. It's been like 18 days since I've trophied. I have the oldest trophy on the first page. Been mostly just playing the PTQs lately and not grinding too many leagues. All right, how's it going? And welcome to round 5 here with Orzhov Vampires. We're going to keep this hand. It has a bunch of 1-mana spells that we can cast in the early turns of the game that really affect the board. And I'm happy to keep it. Just going to get the creature out there here. Temple Garden means this could be like the new white-green Knights deck, which 2 pieces of removal is going to be pretty good against. Yeah, it looks like this is the new... Whoa. Almost passed through the turn there. I feel like I want to Thoughtseize and Fatal Push. Definitely have to Fatal Push. But I'd also like the Thoughtseize here. Whoa, Knight of Grace. Well, we have to take that. Card is Hexproof from black, which means it's very difficult for us to beat that. This is cool. I saw that Sam Black made this deck recently, this white-green Knights deck. And it looks sweet. I definitely want to try it at some point. Unclaimed Contender. So that's why they're led with the Knight. Castle Ardenvale is going to be pretty good at some point, though. Probably firing up the Mutavault and playing the Dahlia's Lieutenant. Oh, they drew Venerable Knight. That's really good. That's a hell of a top deck. Very, very good top deck there. Damn. Strong. Very strong. Yeah. That's unfortunate that that makes that bigger. Probably have to chump it here. Yeah, this is bad. This is really bad now. That's going to become a 5/5, and then we're going to have some serious issues. Coming at Lily, I would assume. Yeah, I just have to chump. Unfortunately, whoa, they're just chaining him. Sick. So we're just going to make that one smaller, play a 4/4. I guess they could kill Liliana here if they swing out into Liliana with the Mutavault and both creatures after pumping with Thalia's Lieutenant, which is a play that I assume that they'll make. Just to get Liliana off the board, and that's probably going to be enough to stick a fork in us. Oof, that's really good. All right, yeah. Well, wow. I'm just going to go to game 2. It's just too much value from them. So Blood Baron's going to be fantastic, obviously. Like, basically unbeatable. Kaya seems decent. Murderous Rider, very good. Virulent Plague is probably okay. I mean, it's good against Castle Ardenvale and also good against Worthy Knight. But it's not, like, fantastic. Let's just see how many cards we're bringing in. Collective Brutality seems good. We may want another Kaya, but maybe just one is fine. And then we got 4 cards we need to lose. The Zealots don't seem very good in this matchup, although drawing cards is nice and having just like some sort of creatures that get in the way can be kind of nice. I do think I want my Thoughtseizes, so I don't really want all the Dusk Legion Zealots. I think we can just drop a couple Champion of Dusks. Obviously, at some point, we do want to draw more cards than them and like take over the game with card advantage, but we do have 2 Castle Locthwains and 2 Champion of Dusks, plus like just an unbeatable Blood Baron. We'll do the job well enough. I think we're just going to run it like this. So yeah, this is definitely one of the matchups where Blood Baron is going to shine. Hopefully we draw some Blood Baron. Well, we have 2 Blood Baron in our hand here, but we're not going to keep this 1 lander on the play. And we are going to keep this one and dump one of these Aetherborns, I guess. Yeah. I think I'm just going to Thoughtseize. Oh, they kept a no-lander. I probably have to take the Knight of Grace. It's just too good against my deck. Can't push it. It has very favorable stats against Gifted Aetherborn, so it's just not a really good situation for us. So, I mean, I said they kept a no-lander, but basically with Once Upon a Time and being on the draw, they're like very, very okay there, obviously. But they did miss their land drop. So did we, though. And we missed it again. This time I am just going to kill their Dauntless Bodyguard. And we missed again. This is a really funny game. But we do have a Blood Baron, so if we draw our third land, we get to Blood Baron and probably just win the game from there. Apologize. I forgot the door was open. So, played Worthy Knight. We're definitely going to kill it. I kind of want to just use our mana more efficiently here. Kill it with Noxious Grasp. Oh no. That is unfortunate. Well, we're playing 25 lands. Sometimes you don't draw any of them. History would be annoying. Yeah, I think history is the most annoying, so I'm going to take that. And maybe we're just going to go the whole distance with this Aetherborn. Maybe that's what's going to happen here. Once upon a time. Knight of Grace, yeah. That's pretty good. We need a land, please, deck. Alright, well, I'll take it. I'll take it. Let's get that Blood Baron out there. And end the game from here in a couple of turns. Yeah. Cool. So that was a funny game. Just both of us didn't draw lands for a really long time. They were stuck on 1 for a while, though, and then we were stuck on 2, and then they were stuck on 2. So they're playing probably 8 1-drops, the Dauntless Bodyguards and the Venerable Knights. So Kaya's probably fine. I don't know that I want to play less than 2 Champion of Dusk, though. The Thoughtseize are basically for Knight of Grace and Acclaimed Knight, or the one that 3 mana one that finds another one. Yeah, I'm not sure that I want to cut anything for Kaya. I guess we could cut a land on the draw, but I don't love the idea of that. Especially after last game, but that's results based. Yeah, we have a lot of removal. Maybe Kaya's better than Murderous Rider, but I doubt it. Yeah, let's just run it back. Let's just remove all their threats and play a Blood Baron. That's like basically the name of the game here. All right, can't keep that. All right, we can definitely keep that. And we don't need a second white source, just one's fine. It's not like they have any Thoughtseizes, so this Blood Baron hopefully just wins the game by itself. That's the idea, at least. But they could potentially race it with Heron's Grace Champion. Knight of Grace is also very, very good. It's not protection from black, but it is hexproof from black, which just makes it hard to kill with removal spells, but we can just like pump this guy and it still kills it. That was a pretty good draw because it gives us something to do on turn 2 here, which we otherwise wouldn't have had. Knight of the White Orchid, Gideon. Yeah, Knight of the White Orchid is just a 2/2 first strike, which isn't that crazy. Certainly going to want to take Gideon here. No blocks. I doubt we're going to want to block with Knight of the Ebon Legion. So I think we attack with it first. Although, yeah, I guess getting in for a point of damage is getting in for a point of damage, right? We might just want to like pump if they block. And there's Blood Baron. This was what we wanted to do. This time we didn't get to kill any other creatures before playing Blood Baron, but I mean, the name of the game was get Blood Baron on the board. Dahlia's Lieutenant? Yeah, it's really good. Damn. Okay. This is interesting. So I want to save the Noxious Grasp until I have Kalitas in play. We can get Kalitas in play this turn. Yeah, I suppose we should. Yeah. And we'll just pass. I doubt they have any actual outs to Blood Baron. Their out is just to like go around it. I don't think they have any like green removal spell for Blood Baron or like any green creature. And they can certainly go wide and go around it, but hopefully we can stop them from doing that with our Kalitas and some removal spells. That's the game plan we're on here. They found another Gideon. Strong. Just going to move right for the emblem, which makes sense. Oh, they scooped. All right. Cool. So, yeah, Blood Baron, very good against basically a mono white deck. All right. So we went 4-1. Pretty great result. Let's do a little deck tech here. So, hello. Welcome to the deck tech. This is Orzhov Vampires. Now, this is a deck that's very much built with the current metagame in mind. I've been jamming the PTQs every day this week, pretty much. As of recording this is Friday, the 29th of November. Every day this week, there's been at least one PTQ of Pioneer on Moto. And yeah, I've been trying to queue for the Players Tour, the regional Players Tour. I'm not exactly sure how those work, but anyway, definitely interested in winning those. So I've been trying to metagame for those tournaments and trying to beat the best deck, which is mono black aggro. One of the ways you can do that is with this card right here, Blood Baron of Vizkopa. So this card is a 5-mana 4/4 pro black and pro white lifelink. And then it has some other text that doesn't come up too much, but with all the incidental life gain in this deck with Gifted Aetherborn, Kaya, Kalitas, and Sorin, we actually have a lot of ways to gain life, even Shambling Vent. So we can end up gaining a lot of life and happening to be at 30 life. And then this is a 10/10 flying with lifelink and protection from black and white. Very powerful card. Very good against the Field of the Dead decks as well. And I think the Field of the Dead decks and the mono black aggro decks are the best decks in the format at the moment. There are also green elf decks with green blue Stompy and green red Stompy. I think those are also very good and right up there with the other two, but I think they're on a slight downswing at the moment. So we're playing this deck to try and fight the mono black aggro deck and the Field of the Dead decks. We did lose to Field of the Dead in that league there. but we didn't draw Virulent Plague in that match, and we had to mull to 5 or something. But anyway, the way the deck works is you're basically playing a very similar deck to earlier versions of Mono Black Vampires, but instead of playing Grey Merchant of Asphodel as a way to like go over the top of your opponent, we're playing Blood Baron as a way to just like end the game against most of the white and black decks in the format. As you saw in the last round, we just beat up on white-green Knights with Blood Baron on turn 3 through Sorin, Imperious Bloodlord. So the idea of the deck is kind of turn 3 Sorin, put a 5-drop into play, and in the first couple turns, like Thoughtseize, Fatal Push, Legion's End, Grasp, play a couple creatures, whatever it is. You just want to like do something in the first couple turns of the game, interact with them, and then just put a 5-drop into play and win from there. And we were able to do that most of the time in that league. As far as card choices, we're playing like a couple other planeswalkers. They're just really powerful cards. Kalitas is a very powerful vampire, but you don't want to have too many of them in your deck because it's not that great in the control matchups and the non-aggro matchups, non-creature matchups. So you don't want to like have too many of these clunky dudes sitting in your hand. It's also a legendary creature, but our 5-drops aren't, so that's why we're playing multiples of those. Then in the sideboarded games, we've got access to 4 Duress to give us some game against the control decks that don't care about all these removal spells. Although a lot of the control decks now, you actually keep Legion's End in because it wipes all their zombies. But yeah, we got a Noxious Grasp for the green decks, for the white decks, for the green and white planeswalkers. We got Murderous Rider, kind of a catch-all, just like, oh, they're playing planeswalkers or creatures. We're probably boarding that in if we can make some room. A 4th Blood Baron. We didn't want to go all 4 in the main deck because sometimes you're playing against a red deck, and you don't really want all 4 Blood Barons. Or there are certainly matchups where Blood Baron's not that good. Like Green Blue Stompy, Blood Baron is just a 5-mana 4/4 with lifelink, and that's just not quite good. So yeah, you don't want to really play against Green Blue Stompy with a bunch of Blood Barons in your hand. But yeah, Virulent Plague for Field of the Dead also could be useful against Rabblemaster War Boss decks, which there are a few. I've seen some Goblin decks that play a lot of token generators, including War Boss and Rabblemaster. So I would probably bring at least 1 Virulent Plague in against them as well. Kaya, very good against decks with a lot of 1-drops. Very good against Mono Black. You can exile like Scrapheap Scrounger and Bloodsoaked Champion from their graveyard. You can exile Bloodsoaked Champion from the battlefield. Just a really powerful effect in like Elf and Mono Black matchups, which is pretty good. She's always like fine, even when she's not great. Her threat of activation of the -5 is pretty strong. Collective Brutality, kind of a cool modal spell that can kill a Tireless Tracker, duress them. It's not quite duress, but it takes instants and sorceries. Also drain your opponent. Sometimes you just need that extra couple points to shift the life totals to 30 and less than 10, or 30 and 10, and then when they're at 30 and 10, the Blood Baron becomes 10/10 and you kill them. So it does come up some of the time. Blight Beetle, in case some people are still playing Mono Green Devotion. I haven't seen it much lately, but in case they are, Mono Green Devotion and Hardened Scales. The Walking Ballista Voracious Hydra decks, Blight Beetle is very, very good against. Infernal Reckoning is quite good against Smuggler's Copter, Heart of Kirin, Scrapheap Scrounger, Bomat Courier. There's a lot of good hits, and you gain some life, which is really nice. And then a couple Dark Betrayals to make sure that the Mono Black matchup is pretty good, even though it's already probably fine since we're playing like a lot of life gain, removal, and main deck Blood Baron, plus a 4th one in the board. But yeah, that's the name of the game here, is basically just be a slightly bigger Mono Black deck that has access to the mirror trump card, basically, in Blood Baron of Vizkopa. Yeah, the deck is pretty good. A fellow Pioneer grinder, McWinsauce, posted on Twitter about this deck, and I just was like, yeah, I definitely want to try out a deck with Blood Baron, and I was thinking about doing the same thing. And so I've been kind of iterating on it for the past few days, trying it out in the PTQs, And yeah, it feels like it's a major player right now, potentially. It's a little bit out of left field. People won't really be expecting Blood Baron. So if you're trying to attack the metagame with like the newest tech, as far as Friday, the 29th, this is like pretty new tech and people aren't really ready for it. So it's nice to be on the forefront there. So if you want to try out a new mono black deck that's not fully mono black, that's actually very good against mono black aggro, try it out. Baron of Vizkopa, pretty good. Thanks for hanging out, y'all, and I'll see you next week.